All right. If you
Yes.
look over the national landscape, Kevin, what do you change about college football?
The one thing that jumps out at me, and again, this is something that could affect like a Kentucky or, Missouri, some of the lesser. I would just get rid of some of the bowl games. There's just way too many. I think there was 42 last year, which means, 84 out of 120 some teams are making a bowl game. And if you look at some of those games, I mean, I know the payouts are what helps pay for some of the budgets, recruiting, and helps running the programs. But you look at some of those games. I mean, if there was 1,000 people, a couple thousand people at some of those games, and I understand you get the extra month of practice, but I would just, too many bowl games. I know I can't think of the one that went away this year. I think they ought to pare down about 10 of them, maybe somewhere between 30 to 32 games. If I had the power for a day or a year, that's what I would do.
Kevin, I hate to be on the fence about anything, but I'm squarely on the fence when it comes to this because for me, more college football is always a good thing. So to counteract your point, there's always going to be small crowds in sporting situations in which
Mm-hmm.
people have to travel long distances for somewhat meaningless games. Even we see that in the first and second round of the NCAA tournament, especially the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. For as important as that
Mm-hmm.
is, when fan bases have to travel a long way, you see arenas that are half full, and we do
Right.
see it in
That
college football. But I still think that the bowl games are extremely popular, and I make this argument having worked and continue to work in the TV business. People don't see what the TV ratings are typically, and people love watching college bowl games. So those games that are sparsely attended in person is still rate extremely well on TV. The issue I have with it, as you're pointing out, Kevin, is we get to a point with so many games being added that there was a baseline requirement of going 6-5 at one point to make a bowl game.
right.
And then the 12th game was added, and so you had to be 6-6. Now we've gotten to a point where the math just doesn't add up. And each year now, over the last two football seasons, we've had to pluck 5-7 teams and elevate
Mm-hmm.
them to a bowl game because we do the math. If you got 42 games, you got 84 spots, you only have 128 FBS teams. So you're
Right.
going
Like
to have to grab losing teams to play in bowl games, and it's supposed to be a reward. There's supposed to be good teams out on the field during bowl season.
right. And Mississippi State was a prime example. From the SEC, they were 5-7, but there weren't enough teams to go around, and so because of their APR scores, they got to play.
So as it turns out, if some of those teams lose, they're 5-8 teams with 5 wins and 8 losses who played in a bowl game. Yeah,
Right.
definitely devalues postseason play in college football.